Hi, I'm Stuart. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome back. Thanks for viewing my video. In this video, I give my reading wrap-up for the week and a half ending 3/24/2026. Decided to do a week and a half instead of a week because this is Tuesday the 24th as I record it, and it just makes more sense to do it this way. I completed one book in this period, so I'll talk briefly about that book. I read parts of 3 books, so I'll talk briefly about those 3 books. I'll talk about my reading plans for the near future. I'll talk about the videos I released. I'll talk about the crochet project I'm working on. I'll talk about the video game I'm playing. I'll talk about the music I listen to. And some other things going on in my life too. The book I started and completed was the Blackboard Jungle by Evan Hunter. I read this book because I knew a live stream discussion of it was going to take place. Live discussion of the Blackboard Jungle by Evan Hunter, hosted by Kevin at Kevin Toll Reads and featuring Pat at Book Chat with Pat. They're 2 of my favorite booktubers. When I saw a while back that this discussion was going to take place, I wanted to read the book. I kind of put myself under a time crunch because in the live stream was going to take place in the evening on the following Sunday. So for me, that's kind of a quick time to read a book, 4 days. I know for many people it wouldn't be a lot, but for me it is. This book is set in the mid-1950s in New York City, mainly at a vocational high school. The main character in the book, Rick, is a Navy veteran, not too long out of college studying teaching. He did have substitute jobs, but he didn't have a full-time teaching job. He gets a job in a vocational high school, and it doesn't really turn out how he expected. The students are difficult, dangerous in some cases. Big issue I had with the book is I didn't like how women were portrayed, and it goes beyond, I think, what some people might say, well, it's the 50s. It goes beyond that in my mind, and early in the book there was an essay, and it was right from the beginning a little fetishized. I know fetishized isn't a word that would have been used in the 50s, but as a person reading it now, that's what it looked like to me. And I also felt that it was, as the book went on, the character who was SA'd was kind of written almost as if she was behaving in a way that was a male fantasy. That's the best way I can describe it. There were times I was considering DNF in the book, but I kept going because I was looking forward to the chat with Kevin and Pat. The book does have some good stuff to recommend it. I will say that there were only 2 characters I actually liked, and the main character, Rick, wasn't one of them. I respected what he's trying to do. He's trying to actually teach really difficult students, but really only 2 characters I really liked in the book. Ultimately, despite the shortcomings of the book, I was happy I read it. Probably going to be a 3-star book for me, which for me is like the minimal acceptable read. I was glad I read it ultimately, but I can't really rate it too highly. It was a debut, but and I am reading it like 70 plus years after it came out. But I can't help when I read a book in 2026 viewing it as I view it. And as I said, the main thing was the portrayal of women. It was pretty bad. It wasn't just like, in the 50s, women were supposed to stay home and kind of dote on her husband. It was kind of way beyond that. I will hopefully review the book fairly soon. I'm way behind on my book reviews. I think I'm going to make an effort to catch up on them, and that may Maybe even possibly give them precedence over tags for a little while, or at least maybe do one tag and one book review per week until I catch up, or maybe even 2 book reviews. I will have difficulty as far as the Blackboard Jungle, figuring out who I can recommend the book to. As part of the discussion, by the way, as part of the discussion, Kevin and Pat, they discussed the movie. They had watched that too. And the movie doesn't, as necessary in a movie in the 50s, it doesn't go, it's not as graphic in various things as the book is. I have not watched the movie myself. I talked to my sister about it. She's a classic movie buff, and she spoke really highly of it. I did decide to take part in a couple readathons. One of them is the Irish readathon. I did release a video where I talked about the 2 books I want to at least start for that readathon. There are more, I think 6 prompts, but I'm only going to do 2 of them. And again, maybe only start. The Irish readathon was created by At Words of Clover and at Leanne Rose. I learned about it in a video by Nicole at Nicole's Bookish Nook. The first prompt is to read a book with green on the cover. The book I selected is Instructions for Dancing by Nicola Yoon. I've just read a little bit of it. The main character is struggling because not too long ago her parents got separated. This was after her father got caught having an affair. Her mother and sister seem to be handling the situation pretty well, but the main character is struggling with it. She was a big romance reader, but she is getting rid of all of her romance books because she just doesn't believe in romance anymore. Haven't got very far in it. I did read The Sun Is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon and really liked it a lot. And I read some of Everywhere by her, and I liked it. I'm not sure why I put it aside. I should pick it back up and finish it. I am looking forward to reading this. I think this book is not exactly going to be cozy, but it's going to not be a very disturbing book either. I decided to take part in the Controlled by the Rollathon Readathon. This is a readathon created and organized by Steph at Fallen to Steph as part of her Patreon and Discord. There are 2 sets of 6 prompts for this. The first set of 6 is reading prompts, and the second set of 6 is fun prompts. The idea is you roll a 6-sided die. It could be a physical one or it could be a digital one. I rolled a digital one. My first result was 5. And in the reading prompts, 5 is a mood read. So basically, I just thought of a book that I've had for a bit and wanted to read, and that is Hemlock Silver by T. Kingfisher. I got this book on my last Barnes & Noble visit late last year. I really loved her House with Good Bones and The Twisted Ones. Those were both Southern Gothic, set in the current times. This particular book is a fantasy book. I've read a little bit of it so far, liking it so far. And as for the fun prompts, number 5 is partake in your fave hobby at the moment. So my fave hobby at the moment is playing wildflowers, so I did play some of it on the day I did the roll, which was the 22nd of March, and that was the same day I started reading Hemlock Silver. I read some more of the Complete Tales of H.P. Lovecraft. I believe the stories that I read in this period were The Shadow over Innsmouth, The Dreams in the Witch House, Through the Gates of the Silver Key, The Thing on the Doorstep, and I'm currently reading The Evil Clergyman. Pretty sure I completed At the Mountains of Madness before this period started. I'm most of the way through this book now. I'm over 90% of the way through. I am enjoying the recent tales I'm reading. As far as my reading plans for the near future, I plan to continue to read Instructions for Dancing, Hemlock Silver, and the Complete Tales of H.P. Lovecraft. I released 3 books in this period. The first was Reading Wrap-Up for the week ending 3/14/2026. The second was The Train Tag. The third was Name 5 Things. As far as crochet projects, I started working on a wooble, the first I've done in a while. It is day 4 in the wooble's advent calendar, and it's Lana the alpaca. When done, should look something like this. I am now done with the body. Came out pretty well, I think. Little tail there. Came out pretty well. Happy to be back working on woobles. I like doing other projects too, but in interspersing those woobles, but I always like to go back to woobles, which is what started my crocheting journey. I continue to play Wildflowers on the Switch 2. I'm enjoying it. I'm kind of stuck right now though because there's something I got to do which takes a long time. One of the parts of this game is farming, and one of the things you do is you have beehives and you get the bees to create honey, but you plant flowers near the hive so that the bees can utilize the flowers to make honey. It takes a really long time. But there is other stuff I'm doing, but right now the central quest is on hold till I get enough honey to do the next step. As far as music, the main artists I listened to were Styx, Iron Maiden, Alice in Wonderland, and Cat's Eye. There are others, but those are the main ones. As far as other things I did, the most important thing was that on March 16th I went to a local H&R Block office to get my taxes done. I'd actually submitted the forms electronically, so my preparer was done when I got there. We just discussed it. Very nice person. My only worry is she's in her 60s, and you wonder how long somebody's going to continue before retiring, but she does a great job. As a matter of fact, she even called me the next day and indicated she had given me a slightly wrong number. She had given me a slightly wrong number for the federal tax submittal address. So that kind of attention to detail I really appreciate. Other than that, I just went out to eat a few places, went to the local mall and walked, watched a fair amount of NCAA women's basketball. The local team, the UConn women's basketball team, currently ranked as the top team in the country in the tournament, won their first 2 games quite handily. The 3rd round starts this coming Friday. I would be interested in knowing how your reading is going in this period, this week and a half that this video covers. If you'd like to let me know, please let me know. Also maybe the music you're listening to or other things too, like sports you're watching if you're a sports fan. That'd be interesting too. If you can't think of anything else to comment on, please add an emoji. Could be a basketball emoji, could be a controller video game emoji, could be a note emoji for music, could be a book or book stack emoji, or an emoji of your choice too. I hope you had a wonderful reading week and a half. I hope you have a wonderful week and a half. I hope you had a wonderful week and a half in general. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, please subscribe, please hit the bell to get notified when I upload future videos.